Okay, this is the cop one. The date. Okay, this is 2013, the third Halloween 2013, the 31st of October. The court proceedings with over custody of Foylan have finished. The last testimony made by witness testimony made by the psychiatrist that she testified, whether she knows it, realized it or not, the information was actually false. Um, I did not walk into that mental institution of my own free will. Yeah, I did, but I didn't know where I was, like, or what was going on. But anyway, so this is over. I was unsuccessful. I was trying to get my head together. I go to McDonald's. I go to McDonald's. At McDonald's alone. Just did the normal same thing as everybody else. Just bought my meal, went upstairs, sat there, ate it. Right. I'm taking, like, I've just finished my food. I haven't spoken to anybody there at all. I'm not doing anything at all. That I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm literally just sitting there. But I had to take a second to, like, close my eyes and just kind of, like, try and clear my head from all the chaos of the prior 2 years. The security guard, this big fucking Eastern European dude, comes along and tells me that I have to leave, that I am not allowed to stay there because I'm sleep, because he said I was like, I can't go to sleep there. I said I'm not sleeping, like, I just have my eyes closed for a minute, like. And so anyway, so I basically said, no, I'm completely entitled to stay here. I just, for a few minutes after I ate, I just purchased my food. I'm not bothering anybody. I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to be doing. And I should have asked to call the manager, frankly. But anyway, he walks off, goes outside, gets two Gardaí walking past on the street. He pulls them in and gets them to deal with me. Right. So what happens next is that I had told him, like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm allowed to, I'm entitled, I pay for my meal. I'm entitled to sit here for a few minutes, like, and digest it, like. And anyway, so ended up the guard had come in. I ended up being brought out the back door by the guardie, as if he couldn't handle that situation by himself. By the way, I'm like half his size, like, um, and he, just because it was on O'Connell Street, they just happened to be walking right by at that exact moment. They bring me out the back door. It was a Garda and a Vanguarda. They put me down on the ground on my stomach to arrest me. Put handcuffs on behind my back, and they left my arms and my legs covered. Every limb was covered in about bruises about this size. Afterwards, they dragged me to the station. I believe it was now that I've seen the back of it since then. I believe it was Pierce Street Station. Um, they so anyway, I'm completely covered in bruises, right? I thought as soon as we get to the station and they're doing the thing to take the, yeah, measure you and all that shit. I asked them to take photographs of the bruises that they left on my body. They said, "Oh, of course, obviously. Like, what the fuck else do they say?" So then, as they're bringing me to the cell, I asked them, I demand to see the doctor. And they say, no. And I spent the entire night in the cell, and I wasn't allowed to see the doctor there the entire night I was there. And that is against the fucking law. Right, and anyway, I leave, right, with my charge sheet or whatever. I go home, and anyway, yeah, the next thing, one thing leads to another, leads to another. The next thing I know, someone has been in my house, and not right then, like a few days later, someone has been in my house. They've stolen my hard drive. The laptop was sitting beside it. It wasn't a burglary. The laptop was sitting right there. They took the external hard drive out of my house. They also stole my artwork, a piece of a painting I've been working on for 2 years. And I had just finished it, and nobody had even seen it yet. And they left 2 cans of Tennent's in my fridge, and I never had alcohol in my house. So one day I was sitting, but I was in the internet cafe. I had just had been using my digital camera, my little compact one. Anyway, I'm sitting in this internet cafe for a few hours. I get up to leave. I take out my camera to see to look to have a look and see a photo I had just taken beforehand and recently, and the SD card is completely blank. So I'm like, oh, that's strange. So I open the side of it. I take out the SD card. It's a different SD card. I had a 40 thing one. This was like a 10 one, and it was completely blank, and the other one had loads of pictures on it. So anyway, um, yeah, anyway, those guards ended up going to the GP who I only just met around the corner, who was the first person that I fucking finally flipped out at because he basically told me that I was crazy, and I went to him for support, like, because of the other people, like, and he basically called me crazy, and he was the first person I finally freaked out at, like, so he thought I was mad. But he lived directly around the corner. His practice was directly around the corner from my house. It's like 50 meters like away. And I bet he wouldn't have done this if I fucking lived further away. But anyway, the Gardaí got in touch with him. He came around. The Gardaí had booted in my door one day when I wasn't there. Um, they left the door in the middle of East Wall. I had no lock on my front door, like, for a couple of days, like, because of them. Um, they got the GP. I'm in bed upstairs one morning. And the GP, Dr. Murphy from East Wall, he's probably not practicing anymore. He's probably retired now. And I was like, he walked into my house. He walked up to my bedroom while I was in bed, like, what the actual fuck, like. Anyway, so, and the next thing, then he contacts fucking my ma, and my ma doesn't know any of the stuff that had happened prior, and I get chucked back into St. Vincent's Fairview for the second time, like, where I had been diagnosed with temporary psychosis the first time. This time I get I get labeled with chronic schizophrenia, because it's years later. It's like nearly 3 years later, like, and anyway, so and then by the time when I come to move out, when I get out 3 months, I get out when I come out of the hospital. Oh yeah, and by the way, when the news first thing on the news was about Nelson Mandela while I was in hospital, dying. Yeah, and also there was two versions of the story I heard on the news, like, because I wasn't fucking mad. I got chucked in there because the fucking guardy got a section 12 on me, basically. And they roughed me up, and they broke the law, and then they got me sectioned because they couldn't get me to, because I was in the mental health cachet. I couldn't. They can't deal with it like that, like. The normal way. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, and then yes, there was two versions of the story. The first version on the news, like just when I got in there. The first one on the news was I got manhandled by the fucking nurses again. This is the second time too. Um anyway, so yeah, the first version of Nelson Mandela's death on the reported on the news was that people had broken into his house and beaten him to death. That's and then like weeks later, then there's a second version of the story, and it's he was sick, he was in hospital, and he just died of like heart failure or whatever. Anyway, so yes, as regarding Cyril, yeah, they brought me right back to 2013 when they elected Cyril Ramaphosa, like the day after Cyril, my Toby's dad Cyril, moved it, came into to Cars with me to do are we fit enough exam, like, which I actually passed, by the way. But anyway, so and everyone seems to keep forgetting that, like, um, so yeah. So anyway, fuck the police.